Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to talk about the big dogs on the block. The movers, the shakers, the policy makers, the ones that make things happen in the Imperium. I'm of course talking about megacorporations. We're going to take a look at the biggest megacorporations in the Imperium and a little bit about their impact. I'm not going to go into detail on each and every one of them. I'm going to actually profile a couple in future videos. Today we're just going to take an overview of what a megacorporation is and what it means to be working for one. Megacorporations in Traveler. Why are you showing Traveler Journal number 3? Well, because on page 18 is a really good article about the megacorporations. Now, this article deals with them during the Rebellion era, but I chose to use this article as my visual reference because it's got a listing of all the megacorps and their little corporate symbols. So I thought that was kind of neat, and I thought I'd go ahead and use that. And then the Vilani Bureau. Now, the way this article is broken down is megacorps as of 11/21, and in the rebellion, the Vilani Bureau pulled away and were their own thing and part of the, quote, rebelling forces. For purposes of this video, I'm doing the megacorporations as they're brought out in the Traveler Wiki, and that is as of year 1105. So we're going to talk a little bit about what a megacorporation is. Megacorporation is a big company. If you think of a company that might be something local to you, for instance, there's a small corporation around here that runs about 8 supermarkets. It's a small chain called Burkott's. They would be a small corporation. Aurelio's Pizza would be a bigger corporation than that. They started out here just a few miles from my house and have grown into something that is in multiple states. I don't know if you've ever had Aurelio's Pizza. I recommend it highly. Those are the smaller corporation, then a bigger corporation, and then we get up to the biggest corporations that are existent right now for us. We're talking about the Amazon, the Disney, McDonald's, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to discuss merits of each individual company, whether you like it or not. That's not really the point of this video. I'm simply giving an example of scope. So in Traveler, a small corporation might be one that just trades maybe on one planet. A bigger company than that, a bigger corporation, would be one that trades perhaps in multiple planets in the entire system. And then after that, multiple systems, and then a corporation that trades in maybe the entire subsector. And then we get to the big dogs, the mega corporations. These are the guys that trade throughout the Imperium. Wherever you go in the Imperium, you have a chance of encountering at least some of their products. So I'm going to take a look now at the name of each corporation, their little logo, and then what they specialize in. Now, because a corporation specializes in something does not mean it's the only thing that they do. It's simply what they're best known for. So in your travel universe, for instance, if you want to have GasBag, GSBAG, which is known primarily for starships, but it turns out they also make excellent communications gear, that'd be a good way to use it. So, the megacorporations. Here we go. We're going to start with Delgado Trading, LIC. These guys specialize in miniaturization, heavy mining and refining, publishing, antiquities trading. So they're pretty diversified. And that's kind of an interesting portfolio that they have there. I've never used a Delgado myself, but I absolutely understand that it could be a useful megacorp to have available. Next up is General Products, LIC. They primarily work on starships, non-starships, and heavy machinery. So they're a big starship manufacturer. Interestingly, they have a reputation for a lower quality product. Not necessarily more affordable, just lower quality. Interesting note on the name General Products. Larry Niven, in his known universe, his excellent writings of the 60s and 70s and through Ringworld and things like that, General Products is the manufacturer of quality starships in that universe. I always thought that was neat. I recognized it when I first was introduced to Traveler in '81 and got really excited. I love Larry Niven's stuff, and I love that Traveler tie-in. I love Traveler. It's just so much fun. So the next thing we go to is GSBAG. There's a long name to this that I'm not going to pronounce in this video. I've pronounced it in another video, and I may do a profile on this company, but for today, I'm not. Their primary interest is starships. That puts them in direct competition with General Products. Gasbag has a little bit better reputation than General Products as far as their what they manufacture. Our next one up is Hortelez et Cie LIC. They are in banking and investments. That's a pretty good place to be in the golden era of Traveler. And sometimes you need some help. So you have to hire people who have to help your corporate assets in some way. Interstellarms, I'm sorry, I always say Interstellarms. Instellarms LIC, military equipment. Good chance your average traveler has or has used some of their equipment, some of their products. These guys are also in cutting edge technology, so not a bad group to get in with. Next one up is Ling Standard Products. They do mining, electronics, ground and air vehicles, starships, ships, armaments and drive, power generation systems, computer systems, software, and small arms. Very diversified. One of the most diversified of the actual Imperial megacorporations compared to the Vilani. If you have an air raft on your starship, there's a good chance that Ling Products made it. Now we come down to SUSAG LIC, another tough name to say. I'll try it down the line. SUSAG is linked to chemical and biological weapons, even though their primary areas, well, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, engineering, but they have kind of a bad reputation because of their bioweapons. But they also were the ones that came through with the best breakthroughs earliest for anagathics. Quick aside, anagathics in my campaign are pretty widely spread. If you're on a planet that's, born on a planet that's maybe tech level 10 and higher, then anagathics of some form are going to be available to you, kind of like just going to kindergarten. It's just something that is going to be available. I've never liked the idea that Traveler in the far future, you have to have a specific chemical to keep you alive, when better medicine and just better overall knowledge of how the body works would actually keep you alive longer. So that's it. I just kind of want to say that about my Traveler universe. You live a little longer on average there. Next one up is Sternmetal Horizons LIC. I love saying it with Stern, with the German. They specialize in mining, manufacturing, power generation systems, and food processors. So again, if you've got a food processor or you've lived with one at some point in your life, it's a good idea that Sternmetal Horizons made it. And then we come down to the Vilani Megacorps. They're separated in this article because this article takes place during the rebellion. I just have them here to keep them separate and by their logo. So I'm going to try these names, no promises here. The first one is Makid Karu. Makid Karu. They are communications, entertainment, software, and gourmet foods. Actually, pretty interesting megacorp to be involved with. Next up, I could think the gourmet foods, I could think of them and SUSAG being in a joint venture where SUSAG's maybe making a chemical enhancement to some food. Now we go to Nasirka. They specialize in information storage and processing equipment, software, computers, robots, and electronics. I'm not sure how widespread robots are in your Traveler universe. They're very widespread in mine. I kind of keep a tight rein on artificial intelligence in my universe. I feel that if you kind of give that its own head, it's going to overshadow the player characters. But there is AI in my universe. The next one up is Sharushid. Sharushid. They specialize in trade, speculation, and luxury goods. And then the final one is Zirin Karlish. They are banking, investments, and insurance. If you've noticed, if you watched my videos for a while, I struggle with Vilani. I don't know why, but I do. I've actually sat and practiced these names before I made this video, and that's the pronunciation you're getting. I apologize. I don't know why, but I have a problem with Vilani names. I like them. I just can't say them. And then the final one we go to in this listing is Tukara Lines LIC, and they are transportation. If you've taken a Starliner at some point, you've flown with Tukara Lines. They're kind of the love boat of space. We have a lot of fun with Tukara Lines in our campaign simply because of the old Love Boat show, and we make fun of Tukara kind of because of that. So how do you use a megacorporation? Oh, great ad for Seeker Game Systems. Yeah, they actually made a couple of good products. I never got these two. I have that one, and I have some of those. Yeah, I have those. But how would you use a megacorporation in your campaign? Well, there are great adventure hooks. Many traveler campaigns, traveler adventures, have you getting hired in some way or another by a megacorporation. The important arm of the megacorporation for a traveler and for the Imperium are the regional managers. They are the guys that are kind of below, they're below the chairman of the board and the board itself. And then next down you have the various division presidents and vice presidents. And then you get the regional managers. And not all corporations follow that hierarchy. I'm just using it for my example. Regional managers are the guys that are handling the nuts and bolts of the day in, day out over their area of influence. So if I'm in the Spinward Marches and I'm on Broeen and I'm a regional manager for Susag, I don't know if that's a great example or not, I'm just going to use it. If I'm a regional manager there, I have a lot of influence in that particular sphere, in that particular area, because we pump so much money into the local economy. So I have access to important VIPs and politicians and things that other people just wouldn't have access to as the regional manager. Now, the regional manager is not going to be the one hiring the travelers, unless it's a very, very covert, very quiet adventure that they're going on. He's going to have subordinates that do the actual hiring. But I go on and on about the regional manager simply to stress that that's the guy that's going to be the name that's known right in your area. In the marches, you may or may not know who's running SUSAG as the president or chairman, but you're probably going to know who the regional manager is because he's in the news a lot. So mega corporations for that are great adventure hooks. I've used them many times. I'm sure other people have. I toyed with creating my own mega corporation at one point, but I really decided that there's so many existing, why even bother putting one more in the sandbox? Not to say you can't do it, of course. It's your travel universe. Do anything you want. And it's a big, big sandbox. Maybe there's a smaller luxury liner that's making a name for itself. And To Caroline's is seeing some pressure from them. Maybe your PCs have ended up with possession in some manner of a luxury liner, and they've managed to parlay it into 2 or 3. Maybe To Caroline's is interested in buying the route from them. You can have a lot of adventures like that. Some of them can be purely political, no shooting whatsoever, just political, dealing with the mega corporations. Some of the regional managers that I've discussed are more powerful than individual Imperial appointments in the area. So they can bring a lot of power to your game, and that's something to just be dismissed. So I like megacorps. I use them in my campaign. I'm going to be starting up my new campaign, Mongoose 2E. As I've said before on the channel, I'm going to be starting up the new campaign soon. I'm excited about Mongoose 2nd edition. I'm going to be using the brand new Mongoose book that I've shown on the channel a couple of times. Those will be where the rules come from. And I'm going to be setting it in the Spinward Marches because I have a definite sense that Mongoose is positioning itself to cover the 5th Frontier War in the way we all wish it had been covered 40 years ago. And I want to be ready for that. So I'm going to get my players, toeing the line, ready to go whenever the war breaks. I'm pretty excited about the fact that I think I'm going to be in the ground floor of this one, and I think Mongoose is going to do it pretty big. So that's all I've got to say about Megacorps today. If you liked what you heard and saw, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. If there's somebody out there looking for traveler information, and they don't know about my channel, please tell them. Don't forget Traveler Wiki. A lot of information available there. If you don't have access to this article again, you certainly have the information on the Traveler Wiki. Just type in Megacorporations. That's really all I've got to say today, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.